Hello guys, today we can discuss about feedback amplifiers. Means what is feedback amplifiers? A part of small output signal fed back to the input signal. Means that a output signal is fed back to the input signal. We can call as feedback amplifiers. Beta represent with feedback. There are two types of feedback amplifiers. First one is positive feedback amplifier. Next is negative feedback amplifier. So we can have the two types, positive and negative. What are the positive feedback amplifier and negative feedback amplifier? Positive feedback amplifier means in sampling circuit to mixer circuit we can having the signal or current in input signal, so we can call as positive feedback amplifier. In positive feedback amplifier we can have gain but no stability, because output signal fed back to the input signal in or support to the increase the gain, but we can have not in stability. In stability means Q point, the operating point in not in stable, because of is up directly to the input signal. The output signal is fed back to the input signal, so we cannot have a stable Q point. We can go to the negative feedback amplifier. The output signal fed back to the input signal, we can subtracting the signal, so we can having no gain, but gain is less compared to the positive feedback amplifier. We can having more stability and less distortion noise and more bandwidth. The output signal fed back to the input signal, but opposes the direction of current or voltage, so we can call as negative sign in this condition. So gain is decreases and more bandwidth increases. We can call as negative feedback amplifier. More of the applications use it negative feedback amplifiers in some amplifiers. The block diagram of feedback amplifier. We can having basic amplifier and feedback circuit, or called as feedback network or mixer network or circuit, and source and sampling circuit, the parallel with load resistance. The basic amplifier having input voltage and output voltage at the terminals, and mixer circuit we can add or subtract the signal. Then sampling circuit can consider voltage or current passing through it. Load resistance having the mean resistance to the output. We can send source to the mixer circuit as voltage source can go to the input voltage, then basic amplifier gives the output voltage, and then sampling circuit consider the output voltage and gives feedback to the feedback voltage, it represents as beta, then is fed back to the mixer circuit. So we can call this in series or shunt in mixer circuit. We can have two formulas. The basic amplifiers gain is not gain we can call as basic amplifier gain, output voltage by input voltage. Then beta represents feedback, so feedback voltage by output voltage. The basic formula of feedback amplifier gain is output voltage by voltage source. This is a block diagram of feedback amplifiers. These are the general characteristics of negative feedback amplifiers. In negative feedback amplifier, we can see that better stabilization, voltage gain. We can have no gain, but compared to positive feedback amplifier gain can having less gain. The gain of feedback amplifier is A by 1 plus A beta is equal to A by A beta cancel 1 by beta. You can call as A beta. Operating point is stable, it is not dependent, so it is dependent. Enhance means is the characteristics of negative feedback amplifier, so the frequency response is enhanced. The output impedance is low and means less impedance, less output impedance. The noise reduction is less, so reduction in noise. Increasing in linearity because it is in linear, so increasing in linearity. We can see the basic feedback circuit means we can having basic amplifier and feedback amplifier. We can having basic connections between them. Like these connections we can call as voltage. This side voltage in sampling circuit we can having voltage and currents. In these connection we can call as voltage because it is in connection between basic amplifier and feedback amplifier in voltage means parallel. So it in mixer circuit we can having shunt, it is also in parallel way, so we can call as shunt. It is when we input voltage here can having v output voltage, then we can consider in feedback voltage. This is a basic circuit of feedback. We can calculate the gain of negative feedback amplifiers. We can considering the main gain of feedback amplifiers. Input voltage we can having source minus feedback voltage. We can consider voltage feedback this side. We can equation like this. Then we can V out by Vs. What is Vs? V in plus Vf considering this side. Then 1 by we can divide with 2 ways, to both the ways in denominator. Then 1 V in by V out we can call as 1 by A plus beta by A plus beta in that. So we can call as A by 1 plus A beta. We can use such applications as more stability amplifiers. So in positive feedback amplifiers the gain is so same like this, V is equal to Vs, but sign is changed, it is in place sign, we can considering minus. So V out by V in minus Vf, V out divided by denominators we can consider 1 by A minus beta, 1 by 1 minus A beta. We can has some applications called CROs, cathode ray oscilloscope. We can see that such applications. There are 4 types of feedback amplifiers. First one is voltage shunt feedback amplifier. Means that basic amplifier is trans resistance amplifier. Okay? Second one is voltage series feedback. Means that basic amplifier is voltage amplifier. Current shunt feedback amplifier is also called in basic amplifier is current amplifiers. Current series feedback means that basic amplifier is trans conductance. These are the main topics in that considered in the feedback amplifiers. Thanks for watching.